a lifetime isn't enough to love you. And a lifetime isn't enough to live. Oh, a lifetime isn't enough to love you. And one lifetime isn't enough to live. I may be different than you, criticize for what I do. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everyone's feeling good. A little tired. I know I was out till little 12 o'clock last night. What a game. My goodness. You know, I was in the 25-20 talking about how hustling is not a Monday through Wednesday thing. Hustling is a Monday through Monday thing. It's a mentality. Wow, those Knicks just didn't give up. Friggin' unbelievable. Down 30, coming back like that. And then to top it off, you know, Brunson said, it's in my hands. It's go time. And then friggin' team comes behind them. OG friggin' backs it up, taps it in. Just like that. Biggest comeback almost in the history of basketball. Holy cow. What a friggin' night. Anyway, I think the futures went from down 25 handles to up 60 when the Knicks won. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. Anyway, we're still in a corrective phase, and we still have to be very tactical. I know for me, I did actually take a few things home last night because I felt like we were oversold enough and I could trade around it. But I've been, pretty flattish most of the week with some hedges on, and I think we handled this down move much better than the last time. A lot of us got very tactical when the SPYs broke 751, got pretty short, and into this 4-day down move, I actually made money. Red Dog, I was like, Red Dog, you're a perma bull. I'm like, no, I'm a perma trader. And sometimes I get caught unraveling positions because when you're above the 8 and 21 day, you're in all these positions, and then it takes a little time to do the unwind. This time we did it much better. I'm very happy about that. But anyway, yes, tomorrow's SpaceX day. Today, SPYs are bouncing back. The last few times, the market bounced back. It got rejected. Remember this down move? What was that? That was Friday. Monday, we bounced into resistance, faded, bounced, pushed above a prior high, faded. So now this level here to me is 735 to 738. This is a pretty big spot. I would think it's going to be very, very hard for the market to get above that. Maybe you can get there, maybe you can't. All I know is right now, so you're at 731.30. So you have a little room if they want to push. They pushed on this day. They pushed a little bit, sucked some people in before bringing us down. So for today, if you did get caught in a few things, trim into strength. So, so you could, or if you covered some into the close, maybe you refade into some strength, but just take some care. Anyway, let's say hello to some of my crew around the world. Good morning. The video could wake up today, right? Spurs played sloppy in the second half. Yes, they did. They were up 30. Joe Repersola, I know you were happy yesterday. Good morning, Hedgehogs. Wow, just what a great game. I was happy. There's so many people. I was out at a party last night, and they were kind of like happy that they chose not to go to the game, and everyone went and spent all that money, and they were like kind of happy that the crowd was quiet and this and that. I'm like, never be happy that someone's not having a good time. It's like, and then they wound up having the sickest night of their lives, and they deserved it. They were there. They went to the city. They went there. They spent their money, whatever it is. Everyone chooses their path. So never be, happy because someone else, isn't having, a great time. That's a bad way to go through life. That's like the thief of joy. But anyway, with that being said, the SPYs are up 6, so I would think there's a little bit more room if it wants it. So if you feel like you're going to fade, I would fade 735 to 738. In the Qs, if you take a look, Qs are up a bunch too. This low here is what? This is 704. Okay. And then 713. So I would think that this zone is like your resistance zone right here. Will it take it back or not? The last few times it's bounced, you had this down move and then bounced into resistance, got rejected. Then, on Tuesday, tried it again, got rejected. So, this spot right to me it's a pretty big spot for the Qs. The Qs are a little crazy, 704 to 713. Where are the Qs right now? The Qs are at 702 and change. So almost into this resistance zone. I know down openings are so much easier than up opens, but anyway, am I short? I'm short some premium. I'm very tactical. So this is the Alpha team. They get to see what I have. I come in today I'm along a little ASTS. I bought on the close. A little Robinhood was strong yesterday, and FRMI. That's it. I got out a week and a half ago. I was in like 20 positions. I got very tactical. I'm short some premium. I've been shorting premium all week. Every time we've rallied up, I've shorted premium a few dollars above, and I made money. So for me, my head just started 732 to 734. So I kind of don't want the spies to go too much above that, but we'll see. So I've already trimmed a little ASTS up $4, a little Robinhood. So I have a good head start to the day. And I made money this weekend, this week while the market was going lower after getting back to my highs of the year. So I'm at the highs of my year, just like that. Usually I'm not there after a little bit of a retracement. But anyway, with that being said, we'll see how it goes. It is a champion mentality. Never give up. There's a lot to learn from the kids these days, or watching this series with the Knicks, the toughness, the never give up attitude. It's just friggin' awesome. I know, my son has been learning a lot. Just about how to handle himself, even the interviews. It's not about you, it's about the team. And anyway, great stuff. All right, so software will be a little tricky today because Oracle is down a bunch. Not everything is participating. Oracle is is down 14. So see what happens with Oracle. Does Oracle go from down 14 to down 28? They have to raise money. That's the narrative right now. The narrative isn't all about Iran, the ceasefire. It's more about that, inflation is still high. The Fed is not going to lower rates. They're not going to raise rates, and just the spend. Google started with the spend. Everyone's has to spend for this build out. So, there's no longer the big buybacks that's going to support the tape where they have to spend for infrastructure for down the road. So that's one of the pillars of why this market's kind of correcting also, not just because of, Iran and oil like that. That kind of diverged already. Yeah, exactly. It's the companies raising money. So someone's like, well, how does the virtual trading floor see you trade? So I came in overnight. Okay, I've already trimmed a little ASTS. Why would I trim some ASTS? Well, it's up 5. That's a nice overnight. So they get to see what I take home to help build some confidence. And I trimmed a little hood already, and this didn't have news. So, and then it just shows other things that I'm in overnight. And then I'm in overnight. You can't trade options. So if I have overnight positions, it's overnight. Then they get to see add or not. But anyway, that's the alpha team. So for today, you can't be in a rush to pay up for anything in this tape, but just know that, where the resistance is. So if you short early, and then it rolls over later, you're not in pain. And if you've been shorting all week making money, just maybe don't go back to the well today. They might try and, hold things up into SpaceX tomorrow so they could, try and get that IPO out and shove it down people's throats. Remember, the art of the first day. The art of the first day is very, very important. It measures supply and demand on whether or not the new issue is tradable after it opens. We did the art of the first day with CBRS. No one in my community got bagged. If anything, some people made some money because they paid for a short, not me. People are like, what is the art of the first day? I'm like, it's how you measure whether or not there's an opportunity. Because sometimes there's a great deal. You can make money the day of, and then it's up the next day, and you make a little bit of money, and then it goes through its phase. But not CBRS. It opened at 350, hit 385, couldn't get back above it, and it went as low as 196. So I think SpaceX is priced at 135. We got to see where it opens, got to see where the print is, and then see how everyone after their free lunch, does their thing. Somebody's like, Red Dog, I can't believe how long you've been doing this. You look so young. So it's just kind of funny. If you look here, this is the art of the first day. By the way, Knicks win. Look at old Red Dog right here. Hold on, let's see if you can see it. All right, that's the disclosure. That's Facebook. Look, I had a little bit more hair, a little less forehead, and just the funny thing is the art of the first day. We talk about patterns repeating themselves. You know what technical analysis is? All it is the measure of greed, fear, emotion, complacency. That's what builds charts. Cycles and sequences. That's what shows you what's going on. And this is actually this one was a good deal, SWMR. But I wanted to see one little spot as I'm jibber jabbering. Let me see. I'll go over a few more tickets. Yeah, Palantir was pretty good yesterday. Palantir faded at the end of the day. And then what's it called? We'll see how it goes. By the way, it's their drones that saved the pilot, and no one's really talking about that. Palantir is helping the U.S. win the war. But anyway, with that being said, I will. Is it a bad time to buy ASTS? Well, they have a launch coming in June. Oh, I want to show this. Look at this picture. This was in the New York City office coming up. Come on. The New York City office. I was sitting there and I had the Wall Street Journal when we were trading Facebook from the New York City office. There. How funny is that? I'm sitting at my desk. I think I don't even know how. And we had 100 traders. We still have over hundreds of traders that trade in, as associate members of our BD, but a lot of them are around the world and trade from home, not in an office with hundreds of people anymore. So, but remember, Facebook was a horrible deal. It opened up, they pushed it, it closed below the opening price, and it was a sell for weeks. And then it went down to like 25 before building a new pattern, before getting you something to use as a benchmark. And then obviously Facebook and Meta had a huge run. It's been crappy since, but with that said, so I'm still sitting here in my six monitor setup, and it's it's the longevity in trading. How long have you been here? It's like the test of time. People are like, Redler, how could you do this for so long? It's because of my routine and my process that I love to do every day. I love getting in the sauna. I love getting my ice barrel. I love my rinse and repeat. I love the Alpha team, my community. I love the 630 Club, you guys, etc. But anyway, so let's see. Somebody asked about Apple. Apple did hold 288. If you got out of the way in Apple, when it did the red dog reversal outside day here, you didn't take the pain. You hopefully sold 315 or 307. And if so, we'll see if this 288 holds. Sometimes Apple doesn't like to go up when the spies are up. It's been the safety trade. But for now, you have a new point of reference. If you're trying to put on a swing because it tested this area, this is now your out. Let's frame the trade, 287, 288. And it does have some room up if it wants to the moving average. A lot of things have some room if they want it. Question is, does it want it? So if you're in Apple, that's cool. Why someone's like, why did you take ASCS? It's not special. You're right. Every day I've been trying to buy it in the hole, goes green, sells it, and I got caught a little bit in it, on that pullback, and I bought, a lot more into the close, so it's actually helping my morning. Someone's like, why am I in Robinhood? Robinhood actually is hanging in there. Robinhood was strong yesterday. Robinhood, you have this descending trend line here. Robinhood hasn't been as battered and bruised. Obviously, it hasn't rallied back up, but to me, this looked decent. So, I'm in some, I'm going to hold some. If today holds up, maybe, Hood does a little bit better today. So that's why. So you have to have a reason. Why am I in FRMI? Had some volume yesterday, and I had a day one while the market was coming in. So anything you're in, just have a reason for it. And if the reason changes, get out of the way. Just like Google, people like, you got out of Google so great. How did you time that? How did you know? I'm like, I didn't know it. I didn't time it. I did time it, but it looked great right here. And then the pattern changed. I was in it hoping it would be a bull flag break to the upside, and then that happened. So obviously my trade changed, so I got out of the way, and I haven't really been in Google since. There was a lot of inside buying in Hood. But anyway, so today, I think the thesis really is does the early strength hold and build? Do they push back a little bit, keep the market up so that people are in a good mood for SpaceX tomorrow? That's what I think happens. I don't think we go red and fall apart like we've done the past 2 days, because they need to change, the complexion a little bit. But we'll see. Is there a cup and handle on QS weekly? I haven't really looked at QS. QS, oh my God, that's absolutely gross. Last time I traded it was here on the weekly. That was the last time. Not really. I don't know. Here's the thing. So some people like that try and beat me up a little bit. They're like, Red Dog, what about DGXX? What about this? I said, when the market changes and we get into an active sequence to the downside, the little ones that have potential, they get hit fast. So DGXX, which I do think is going to be a fantastic situation down the road. I was in it, hoping, not hoping, but I was in, my trade was, you had a big move. Could it hold above 720? Could it hold above 720? And on this day, I got stopped out of it. It didn't. So hold 720 for a move above 880, 920. That was the way I framed the trade. And then I got stopped out. Some people are like, well, I'm going to just continue to buy it. In a year from now, it's going to take out 920 and I want to have a huge position. I'm like, that's a different trade. If you get paid monthly and quarterly and you're in 15 positions and the market loses the 8 day, they're going to hit everything. They're going to hit everything. So this got hit just as well. It hit the 50-day also, though, just like the market. So it's trading with it. The spies hit the 50-day, that hit the 50-day. Anyway, so once again, I'm going to simplify it. Whatever you're trading, see if there's any relative weakness, relative strength. Here's 735 to 738. That is probably the zone that I would think rejects price. They'll probably hold the market up a little bit better today because they probably want a decent mood for SpaceX. We're going to use the art of the first day tomorrow. We're not just going to buy it. No one in our community bought CBRS at 350 or 370. If anything, they traded in the hold near the 200s. It's actually building a decent pattern here. Let this thing go sideways. Let it build out here, and perhaps after 3 to 6 months, there'll be enough accumulation, enough of the free money guys get out, and it'll trade better. It is a good company. It just had like 8 rounds of friggin' private action before coming public, which is why these things don't work. What about iron? Iron, it pulled in also. Iron went from being special, right? This is when we were long iron, made a new high. Then you had a red dog reversal sell. What's a red dog reversal sell? It went above 69.57, hit 70, and came in. So if you were in a lot of iron, maybe here that got you out, or that got you at least into a lower tier, and then that happened. So again, just like everything else, when the market's under pressure, the high valuation names get hit the hardest. When the market's trending well and you're in the 6th week of active sequence to the upside, and there's a lot of things going on. So you need to know when to switch gears, when to go from portfolio approach to tactical approach, and what's your trade. Are you in it have you been in it for years? Like even Apple. I got out of Apple, and I was kind of not bragging about it, but I'm like, I got out of Apple like right around here, and we said they might sell the news, and somebody laughed. They're like, "Oh, you got out of Apple? I've been in Apple for 3 years." I'm like, that's a different trade. I was in Apple from here, and I made a lot of money to pay me for this quarter because it acted awesome. Right here, it changed. If you're looking to get paid in June, does the trade change? Can you be right for those multiple days or for multiple minutes and get paid? So it all depends on your time frame. So with that said, it is 6:49. I have so much to do today. I would definitely, if you got stuck in some things, trim into strength. If you covered into the week close, maybe you could put some back on into this area and just map it out. It's going to be hard to buy this up open, and it's not going to be the easiest to short it. We just came in from 760 to 722. That's like 4.8% to the 50-day. It could definitely push back and retest these moving averages curling down. So just don't blindly short, and just look for the signal. Tesla, this, we got out of Tesla really well also, not because I thought Elon's breath smelled. No, just because it was getting tight here and this happened. That got me out. And then remember we talked the other day, I'm like, 413 is the key. Does it get and stay above 413 or not? And it didn't. So if you got out of 413 or got short at 413, this is 23 points below. There are ways to navigate and adjust if you're properly prepared with your levels and you have multiple plans based on the action around the levels, not around the TV set, not around the social gurus. It's about you, your setup, and why you in a trade. If you've been in Tesla for 2 years too, then you didn't really care about 413. But if you were in it to try and make money that day, it was a better short than a long. And now we'll see, what it does today. What's Tesla doing this morning? It's up 490, not a whole hell of a lot. I would say this is probably going to be resistance 1 for Tesla. It keeps getting rejected. This is what is this? This is 397. So it's good to map out resistance 1, 2, and 3 on a day like today to see what the bounce will do. So this is 397. Where did I say Tesla is? Tesla's at so Tesla got some room if it wants to just take back yesterday. And this is that prior low. This is 388. So 388 will be like a micro spot. So again, you want to know the micro spot and a bigger spot. So lastly, again, in the SPYs, you have 735-ish is a spot that might reject price, or 738-ish, or might grind back a few days and then roll over. We'll see. All right, guys, I got to jump. Thanks for tuning in. Friggin' go Knicks. Cool stuff. Anyway, enjoy yourself. Life's too short. Celebrate every day above ground, because one day you never know. And continue to stack days. And if you're not doing well, if you are not doing well this year, look at yourself in the mirror, say it's my fault, meaning your fault, and figure out how to make changes. If you want changes, you have to make changes. There's been a lot of great action. You don't have to be at the highs of your year, and you don't have to be having your best year. But if you're down a ton of money, chances are you're not doing the right thing. You're stubborn, you're opinionated, and you're not moving your feet. I'll see you guys in a bit.